Facebook friends and family. This is Mississippi Lawn Boy here. We're out in the deer stand this morning and this weekend. My son, he got him his second deer, little button buck, last night. He was so excited. We hunted 3 times yesterday and paid off. I'm just sitting there this morning and praying and thinking and thanking the Lord and thinking about all my friends and family in Christ, and remembering all my friends that love to hunt. Happy hunting, y'all. But just praying about what the Lord wanted to say today, and I just got to thinking about work and what I do as an arborist, and thinking about removing trees and pruning, grinding stumps, weeding, things like that. Thinking about, well, the Lord is a master arborist, and thinking about all the things that how He is an arborist in our lives, and thinking about trees and what they mean, and pruning and removal and fertilizing. Well, some things I thought about were, what if, if we're a believer and Jesus is our foundation, and, we built our house, the people in our lives, and our beliefs, and knowledge of the Word, and we let a sapling grow up next to our foundation, or we plant a tree too close. When I learned in college is you got to plant in the right place. So a plant can be a good thing, but in the wrong place it can be a weed. It can be a bad thing. A weed is something you don't want in a certain place. It's not desired. So what if we let a sapling that's not necessarily a bad thing but grow up in the wrong place? So if we let a sapling grow up in the wrong place next to our foundation, it can get, and we just kind of let it grow, and it's not such a bad thing while it's little, but when it gets big and mature, it can be a bad thing. It can be a hazardous thing. It can be cause damage to our house, our family. Branches beating against the house, damage the roof, let water in, it causes rot. The root system can damage our foundation, which is our belief system, our relationship with Christ. Maybe it's an idol in our life, maybe improper relationship outside of marriage. It could be greed, money, things that get in the way of our priorities, our relationship with Christ or our family. So a tree in the right place is a great thing, provides shade and shelter, and is beautiful. But in the wrong place can be a very bad thing. So as an arborist, as God is arborist in our life, if we're constantly looking at Him, He can say, hey, that tree's growing in the wrong place, you need to remove that while it's still not a big problem. While it's, we can easily do that with minimal damage. But, if we let that thing, we don't listen, we let it grow, it gets more expensive to remove. It's much more, it could damage things around it. There could be damage already taking place in our life to that house. And unfortunately, depending if it's an invasive plant, which sin can be, like a crepe myrtle is hard to get rid of. Even if you grind the stump, roots can come back. Chinese tallow tree, things like that. Even if you allow the Lord to remove that in your life, we take down a lot of trees, and sometimes, there could be tracks from machines. There could be, things come back causing damage to your landscape or whatever. But if that's little, it's not a big deal. In and out, you'll never know we're there. But if it's a lot bigger, it can be much more costly. And but you know, even if we allow the Lord to take that big tree out of our life that's become idle and caused damage, whatever, even if some people, they don't want to allow, you know, get rid of the stump, so there's always that reminder, it's always a wound, it's always a hurt there, and sometimes it can sprout back. But even if we allow the Lord to grind that stump, you know, sometimes, like crepe myrtle or whatever, if you don't get rid of all the roots, it can sprout back. And are we going to allow, those could be thoughts or feelings, you know, from that past hurt or whatever that was there. Are we going to allow the Lord to come in and maintain that area? Are we going to allow Him to cut that out? Are we going to allow Him to pull that weed or spray it with Roundup and get rid of it by the truth of the Word and controlling our thoughts? Or are we just going to let it foster? And what if it takes back over with a vengeance? So I just thought that was interesting thought. And you know, what if it's a tree out in the garden where it's supposed to be, but you know, we don't tend to it? What if it's a gift in our life, you know, that we haven't really tended to, and starts to have dieback? And what if it needs to fertilize? Or what if it's something that's not bearing fruit, you know, it's a dead limb in our life and the Lord wants to prune it out? Are we going to allow Him to come and do that? Sometimes it's at a cost, but it's beneficial to us in the long term. Or what if it's a sun garden that we planted, and again we let a tree grow up there and it matures and it shades out our sun garden, you know, where plants need more sun, but now they're getting shade, and you know, what God intended to be a certain way, we're hindering. And that tree is sucking up water and nutrients from the other plants He intended to be there. And say they took it out, God said, let's take it out, and we let God do that, and it can blossom again. And so I just want you to think about that, do some evaluating and prayer during this time of Thanksgiving, and thank God for all the things He's blessed you with, and say, are there any things that Lord needs to remove or to prune? And Lord's plans are good for you, and He loves you, and He knows what He's doing. He's going to make proper cuts and removal and recommendations just like we will. And so I just want you to be thinking about that, and let the Lord love on you today. Have a blessed day, and stay in touch, and we'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye.